Hey, we have somebody standing by in the green room.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's welcome to the I Love Gay Palm Springs podcast, Davey.
And now for something completely different.
Yes.
I think I just kicked him out. No, he's here.
Oh, he's coming.
There he is.
How are
Oh
you?
my gosh, what are you doing with the shirt on?
I know.
I know you guys don't recognize me, huh?
I didn't. You're right.
For anybody that doesn't recognize this gentleman, it is Davey Wavey, a gay guru and digital storyteller who has reached more than 400 bazillion people around the world with his unique perspectives on life. With humor and candor and curiosity, Davey empowers his followers by creating shareable videos and media that people remember. And he's from Rhode Island.
Did you write that yourself, John?
No, I think Davey wrote it.
From Rhode Island, who knew? Davey, how did you get out to Palm Springs?
Yeah.
Well, I lived in LA for a few years and I never really quite fit in. And I figured as a gay man, I'm going to end up in Palm Springs eventually anyway. So I might as well get a head start on it. And so I did. And I started coming out here on vacations and just fell in love with it.
Well,
Fell in love with the community.
I remember we kind of got to know you when I was a volunteer coordinator at the Gay and Lesbian Center, and you did the video on aging and gays, and that
was amazing.
And you connected with our set of volunteers who are amazing people, and they showed you exactly how cool they are.
Well, it's funny because as someone who creates video content for the internet, I'm 36 years old. So in that category, I'm one of the grandfathers. I'm one of the oldest people in the room. And then in Palm Springs, I'm always one of the youngest people. And so I kind of bridge this world. And I think something that's really interesting and fun is taking the wisdom that older generation has accumulated and packaging it in a way that the younger generation can consume it, so that they're not starting at, step number one and trying to reinvent the wheel. So that's what that video was about. It was fun. Yeah.
You did it well.
We need to connect you with David Gray, who's doing a great project on the history of LGBTQ in Palm Springs. So maybe we can get you to do a little volunteer work for that.
I would love that. I would love that.
Amazing too.
One of the reasons
you may see him at Ralph's wearing a kilt.
Yeah.
He was.
That doesn't narrow it down.
He had a kilt and a mask.
Yeah, it doesn't narrow it down at all.
Yeah, it's true. In this town, you're right.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to during the lockdown period?
Well, since my work is really all digital, my daily life hasn't changed that dramatically. I mean, I work from home anyway. Obviously, not visiting with friends and not going to the gym. But a lot of, most of my work now is on Himeros.tv, which is an erotic website. And I think since people are kind of hunkering down, the desire to consume that kind of content has increased as people try to find ways to spend their time. So I've been just as busy as I've been before. And Palm Springs, of course, with the exception of the last few days, we have such great weather. It's not a horrible place to be stuck.
Right? Yeah, it's a nice window to look out of. Now, you're Himeros.tv or no? Is it Himeros?
Himeros, yeah, Himeros.tv.
Himeros.tv.
Yeah.
And that's where you can hunker.
So to speak. Yeah. Well, I launched it in 2017. Mm-hmm. And the idea was that as gay men, well, first of all, no one has good sex education in this country, regardless of your sexual orientation. But of course, that's especially true for LGBT people. And as a gay guy, I looked to the internet to learn about sex. And what I found was, SeanCody.com. And what I discovered wasn't exactly content that taught you about pleasure or connection or intimacy. And so, in that vacuum of knowledge that's not being shared, I think a lot of people are filling it with porn. So the idea was to create an erotic website where the videos are really hot and fun to watch, but that it would also teach you, you'd finish watching a video and be like, "Ooh, that was really exciting." But also I learned a thing or two. And so we partner with sex educators and tantric instructors and sexologists, some right here in Palm Springs. and we make videos that accomplish that. So that's been really fun.
And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, two reasons. One is we just started partnering with you on Gay Does Your Guide, so we're starting to promote what you're doing. But I really thought, I've watched, I'm not a subscriber yet, I will be, but I've looked at some of the work that you've done, and I've been following you obviously for years on social media. And I really think you've hit on something. And we were just talking with Dr. Rush about the fact that people are feeling very isolated these days. And, if you just are looking at a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am video on Pornhub, there's no connection, there's no intimacy or whatever. And I know you've taken a completely different turn with this site. And I think there's something to that in what's happening today.
Yeah, well, there's a lot there. I mean, one of the things that we do in our content is we often, partner with porn stars that people know and love and follow, but we also work with models who look like, everyday people like everyone else. Not everyone is 25 years old with an 8-pack. And, I think when people log onto a website, they also enjoy seeing reflections of themselves, people that look like them. And when we survey our audience, we found that 48% of our respondents wanted to see content featuring men over the age of 50. And that may be that our audience is just particularly evolved, or it may be that there's a hugely underserved market in erotic content. So we try to kind of show people all along the spectrum of age, body types, backgrounds, ethnicities, to really reflect how diverse our community is. And then the other side of that is not just showing people that look like themselves, but to show people what it really looks like to connect. And the way that erotic content is traditionally filmed, oftentimes just featuring, two straight guys bumping their bodies together, it's not going to accomplish that. So we do retreats and we work with each model, and it takes more work and more effort, but I think the product that we get as a result is a lot better, and it helps I think gay men see another side of sexuality that's not being featured in mainstream porn.
So right now, you obviously are not filming. You're not doing anything. Did you have some things on the docket that you were planning to do that got postponed or canceled?
Well, we filmed a project right before all this happened, and we have another project planned in May, mid-May, which we're kind of waiting another week or two to see if that's going to be feasible. I'm kind of got my fingers crossed. But we've also been adapting, and I think, if anyone knows how to experience pleasure and connection and adapt in the midst of a health crisis, it's gay men.
That's right.
And so we've been using things like Zoom to facilitate videos between models. We just did one the other day, it was set up kind of like a business call that starts to get like a little bit raunchy. And it's not the high production value that most people get on our site, but it's, sex adapts.
And it's time sensitive and it's relevant. And don't you find it's hard to watch television where people are close to each other?
Yeah, totally.
What the fuck are you doing sitting at the same table? So I think people still, even in this situation, guys are freaking out. I can't tell you how many posts I'm seeing about how the fuck am I supposed to fuck if I can't fuck? So seeing people make hot situations out of what is real now has got to be really relevant.
I'm also really glad that we can say fuck on this podcast, because I was really trying to dance around it. So thank you for breaking the fuck ice.
Always.
Yeah. I think there are some really creative opportunities. Like, for example, my backyard, I have a bunch of really big glass windows, and I'm sitting at home and I'm horny on Grindr, and I can't do anything. But I could invite a guy to come over and jerk off outside my window.
Totally.
And it would totally still be really hot. And so there's things like that, where I think there's some opportunities to create content in a way that's...
Well, then film it.
Well, that's the idea. That's the idea. In a way that's safe and adheres to CDC guidelines.
Unfortunately, I live on a very busy street. So that one probably wouldn't work for me on Arenas, but...
Well, you could use FaceTime, and you certainly can watch porn.
Yes. And you go to do that at, well, you're not porn. You're kind of a different animal.
You know, my mom is from Rhode Island, and she's very old school, and she would be the first to tell you that. She would say, it's porn.
Oh my God, it's porn.
It's porn. But for me, the intention is porn is you'd watch it to get off. And
Right.
while you can still do that with this, it's about getting kind of in touch with pleasure, intimacy, and connection. So it's like porn, but better.
Could you film / live direct? You know, what is it? Who is it that does Hump Fest? Is it Savage? It's
Dan
not-
Savage, yeah.
Yes.
Dan
Okay.
Savage.
So maybe like live directing from your house, couples who are at home, and suggesting and helping them navigate a scene worth filming, which you are also recording, right? They love to get bossed around. They would love, like, the idea of getting directed by Davey Wavey for a live porn situation sounds like a marketable idea to me.
Well, we're gonna do that on Easter Sunday. We found our first couple, and we're gonna film that. And usually, I don't actually direct the videos because my job is just kind of get all the right people in the right place. But this one, because we obviously can't have a crew, yeah, I'm gonna be directing it. So we'll see how it goes.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us and giving us an outlet for some of our erotic endeavors online at himeros.tv. David,
Awesome.
That's the spelling on that, just so people know, HIMEROS.TV. Davey, is there any kind of a code that we can use? Maybe you and I maybe we could get that and put it up afterward, some kind of a code for the site?
Yeah, we can give you guys a special link. Totally.
okay. We'll wait for the link.
No, I mean for the people that are watching this, so they have a chance to get in. So we'll talk about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Always working.
Oh, and by the way, on Sunday, we're going to be doing something. Are we not, Shan? Are we still
I
doing
don't
that?
know. Are we? I was trying to have an
Yes.
Easter bonnet and mask pageant of some kind.
Yeah, I've got one of the dispensaries that's willing to give us some free hooch.
We were gonna do delivery and pot as a prize, and I think it's a great idea.
In these
Virtual
crazy
weekly
times, you do what
audit
you can,
time,
you know?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we'll be
Easy,
watching
easy.
for your video. 'Cause that's going to be even more fun later
Yes.
later in the day.
Big Easter plans.
Easter eggs with David Wavey.
It'll be the second coming.
And with that,
We thank you again, Davey, for being on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye.
bye.